Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Junaid Saleem to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Junaid Saleem's words. Today we will talk about the Iran-Israel war, where Iran's response has undoubtedly shocked the entire world. The whole of Israel is within the range of Iranian missiles, and now Israel is seeking help from across the world, particularly from the United States. We'll also discuss what importance this war holds for Pakistan and how petrol bombs have metaphorically been dropped on the Pakistani public. We'll touch on the ongoing cases in the Supreme Court too. But first, let's talk about the Iran-Israel war. Viewers, there's no doubt that Iran has proved the world's predictions wrong. After Israel's first-day attack, Iran quickly composed itself and launched a devastating counterattack that has shaken Israel to its core and continues to do so. Iran targeted Israel's energy centers, plunging nearly half the country into darkness. Following the Iranian missile strikes, parts of Tel Aviv now resemble the scenes seen in Gaza. Israeli citizens are gripped by fear and panic, while Muslims in Pakistan and around the world are celebrating at the sight of wounded Israelis. An Iranian military spokesperson has warned Israeli soldiers to evacuate residential areas as they will no longer be livable. Iran's confidence has reached such a level that it has rejected multiple ceasefire appeals from different countries, saying it won't stop until it has settled scores with Israel. Iran has even symbolically targeted the ancestral home of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Although Netanyahu no longer resides there, the act has deeply unsettled Israel's ruling elite, spreading panic and fear. Israel, in its fear, has now pleaded to the international community for protection against Iranian ballistic missiles. This is the same Israel that just days ago was a symbol of tyranny, brutally spilling Palestinian blood. Now that same Israel is begging different nations to broker a ceasefire. Israel's national security advisor claims that Iran still has between 1,500 to 2,000 ballistic missiles. Meanwhile, Israel's Iron Dome defense system has completely failed, even worse than how some would describe the failure of governance in our own country. According to reports, Britain has provided its missile defense system to Israel, as Iranian attacks have caused significant economic damage. So far, 24 Israeli deaths have been reported, with around 30 missing and approximately 500 wounded, some still buried under rubble. Iran has shattered Israel's claim of being invincible, instilling deep fear in its civilians. Even Netanyahu is now desperately trying to pull the US into the war, with propaganda suggesting Iran plans to assassinate Trump. It was expected that, in retaliation, Iran would attack American military bases in Qatar or the UAE, which would then drag America into war. But Iran has been strategically wise so far, directing its missile attacks exclusively at Israel, giving Trump no clear justification to formally join the conflict, although America continues to provide full technical support to Israel. President Trump himself appears to be in a strange dilemma after Iran's retaliation. He initially said he would try to negotiate a ceasefire, but hours later said he wouldn't stop Israel from attacking Iran, and might even support Israel directly. With such contradictory statements, no one is taking American mediation seriously. Now, looking at the Iran-Israel war from Pakistan's perspective, Pakistan has so far maintained neutrality, although diplomatically it seems to support Iran, for which Iran has thanked Pakistan. But keep in mind, Israel doesn't just want to defeat Iran militarily. The real goal of the United States and Israel is to install a pro-Israel puppet government in Iran. If that happens, then Israel could move right up to Pakistan's borders, posing a direct threat to Pakistan's existence. Sources suggest that India had planned to launch another phase of Operation Sandur against Pakistan during Eid, but Netanyahu stopped India, saying they would first install a pro-Israel government in Iran and then jointly attack Pakistan. It's as if Pakistan is a child in primary school, something insignificant and easily dealt with later. This kind of drunk-on-power arrogance, whether in an individual or a nation, always leads to downfall. Israel promised India that they'd handle Iran first and then together deal with Pakistan. However, Pakistan's intelligence is already aware of this Israel-India collusion. Defense analysts say if Israel manages to subdue Iran, then regime change will follow, and Pakistan will become Israel's next target. So this is the planning happening behind the scenes, one on the ground and one, as they say, in the heavens. Anyway, if we look at the Iran-Israel war in the context of Pakistan, Pakistan cannot afford Iran's defeat. If the war prolongs, Pakistan will find it nearly impossible to stay unaffected. That's why those in Pakistan who are unknowingly supporting Israel on social media must wake up. Now let's turn to domestic politics, where most developments seem to be trampling over the law. Pakistan's annual budgets are often flooded with tears. This year, the most unusual aspect of the budget is that the finance minister wasn't even willing to speak on it. He couldn't justify any part of it. This budget completely exposed Finance Minister Mohammed Aurangzeb's performance within just half an hour. After the budget, even the FBR cancelled the usual technical briefing, and during the post-budget press conference, the minister often stayed silent, putting a finger to his lips when asked questions. When asked why there was no increase in minimum wages for the first time, he said the industrialists didn't allow it. That one sentence destroyed any remaining credibility of this imported finance minister, who just a month earlier was claiming the world was amazed by Pakistan's economic growth. By June 11th, the same finance minister was saying everything was being done through loans. Within a month, the bubble of economic growth burst. Now the public is asking, who appointed this genius Aurangzeb? Due to his policies, 10 million people involved in agriculture are now on the brink of starvation. 50% of industries are shut down. Unemployment is at a historic high. The FBR chairman Rashid Langriel says that the richest 5% of households in Pakistan evade 1,600 billion rupees in taxes, but no one can stop them. Then why are you here, Mr. Chairman? Are you the information minister or the FBR's PR officer? Your job is to stop this theft, not just inform us about it. The incompetence of the government and its officials is now costing the entire nation. Even before the budget is passed, petrol has become 5 rupees and diesel 8 rupees more expensive per litre. An additional 22 rupees per litre levy is also on the way. One cannot help but compare this to Imran Khan's era, when global oil prices were at $110 per barrel, yet petrol in Pakistan was available for 150 rupees per litre. And today, when the international oil price dropped to 75 rupees per barrel, the government increased petrol prices to 258 rupees per litre. That is, when it was 110 rupees per barrel globally, petrol in Pakistan was available for 150 rupees per litre, but when it dropped to 75, it shot up to 258 rupees per litre locally. The government hasn't increased petrol prices because it's buying at higher rates now. No, not at all. They are still using petrol bought at older, lower prices. The new, cheaper petrol won't even reach the country for another 15 to 20 days. Yet, the government has already started collecting increased prices from the public. Previously, when global prices dropped, they refused to reduce local prices, saying the government needs to build roads, so we can't lower fuel prices. What kind of absurd excuse is that? It was as if the Prime Minister wanted to eat nihari but didn't have the money, so petrol prices couldn't be reduced. Seriously? If petrol is saved, is that what will be used for the PM's nihari? Just imagine the non-seriousness, the absurdity. Governments around the world don't function like this. No one says, we won't lower petrol prices because we're building a bridge or road. Have you ever heard anything like that? Never. Now they don't even bother offering excuses like before. Earlier they used to say Nawaz Sharif is upset about the rising prices. Now, not even that. Clearly, every hike in petrol prices opens new doors to inflation, but no one here seems to care. Now, dear viewers, I want to make a clarification. Not even a clarification, but something important that I want to share. Some of our colleagues, both in social and mainstream media, are repeatedly saying that the rift between the PPP and the PMLN has widened so much that the PPP may reject the budget. Let me be clear, there is no chance, none at all, that PPP will reject the budget. PPP is not planning to break away from this alliance, never. In fact, PPP is now expressing regret over why it didn't join the alliance and enjoy the fruits of it sooner. And the rumour that Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is out of the race for Prime Minister, also false. In fact, there is a plan, an understanding between the two major parties that even if, for a short while, just as one lets a child have a couple of balls at the end of a game, Bilawal will be given a short-term chance at the premiership so he can attach Prime Minister to his name. Both parties and the power players are still committed to this understanding. PPP feels it's already too late. They regret not jumping in earlier. It reminds me of a 90-year-old man who, upon entering paradise and seeing the maidens, starts crying. When asked why, he says, "I wasted so many years chasing balance and discipline. Had I come earlier, I could have enjoyed all this much more." That is PPP right now, regretting its delayed arrival to this heaven. Now, moving to another performance by the Punjab government. On Lahore's Firozapur Road, a green lane was specially painted for motorcyclists at a cost of millions. That paint was washed away into the drains with the first rain. Now, from Gaddafi Stadium to Kalma Chowk, the green lane is being dug up again to lay Sui gas pipes, also at the cost of millions. Why weren't these pipes laid before the road was built? Who's going to question Madam Chief Minister about the waste of public funds? Money from the public, but no accountability. In jail trial proceedings, when the prosecution refused to argue bail cases, Dr. Yasmin Rashid lost her temper and was visibly out of control. She lashed out, saying, "At least consider my old age. It's been 2 years and you're still not prepared." She alleged her bail is being blocked at Nawaz Sharif's instructions, adding, "He's afraid of me because if I'm released, I'll expose him with Form 45 and the public in my constituency will reveal who they actually voted for." This is the state of the May 9th cases, 2 years later, and government lawyers still claim they're unprepared. The level of farce is beyond satire. In the previous hearing, the court was told the investigating officer's aunt passed away and he had taken the case files to her house because they're sensitive. Can you believe this? And the judge did believe it. Now again, they say the prosecution isn't ready. The courts are being so generous, granting one adjournment after another on flimsy excuses. Frankly, Dr. Yasmin Rashid should start bringing Quranic verses or hadith to each hearing for the judge and lawyers. Maybe something will finally move their hearts. In a previous instance, one witness refused to give false testimony after hearing a Quranic verse. Now, the Supreme Court heard the Islamabad High Court judge's transfer case. Advocate Salahuddin completed his arguments, and Hamid Khan began his. The key development was that Punjab's Advocate General Amjad Pervez submitted a response, meaning now he will argue too. After how poorly the Attorney General performed, the government has sent in another player. Let's see what spin he tries to put on things. This move will certainly delay the final decision. Meanwhile, the hearing on the reserved seats case continued. It's becoming very clear, based on the Supreme Court bench's questions, that they are inclined not to grant these seats to PTI. It's obvious even to a layperson. Even 2 judges who earlier ruled in PTI's favour have started finding flaws in their own judgments. This case has become little more than a formality now. Although Salman Akram Raja gave a strong and intelligent argument, the outcome seems pre-decided. That wraps up our translation of Junaid Saleem's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.